Subscribe for the latest in boxing. So a while ago, Mr. Hughie versus Kubrat Pulev was announced. This is going to be for the IBF title elimination. So the winner of this fight is going to be fighting or facing or being mandatory, I guess the number one mandatory for the IBF, to face Anthony Joshua. Now I'm going to let you guys know this. I am most likely not even going to bother to watch this fight. And I'll tell you why. Because I'm not a fan of either Hughie or Kubrat Pulev. And I'll tell you why. A, Hughie is he's one of the most boring heavyweights I've ever watched. Like, I've watched Hughie fights. I've always been put to sleep by him. Fury is not a puncher, and he's a defensive type of fighter who only attempts to go the decision with his fights. He never tries to knock out his opponent, especially when he's in there with a guy who has a pulse. He always goes the distance. When you hear him say, "I'm going to knock this guy out," it's a complete lie. He doesn't actually do it. He is a points decision type of fighter. He doesn't know what it is to be entertaining. You know, he's not. When have you ever thought to yourself, boy, I can't wait to watch Hughie fight this guy because he's going to most likely knock him out and it's going to be super exciting. You don't say that. You don't find yourself saying that. You don't find yourself thinking that because he's a very dull type of fighter. When it comes to Kubrat Pulev, I have never been a fan of Kubrat Pulev. I've never been a fan of him. I always felt that he was massively overrated. You know, if you look at my channel, I've always called him the wannabe Klitschko because back when he was first coming up, I used to look at boxing channels and they used to claim that Kubrat Pulev was the Klitschko killer. They used to act like this guy was supposed to be the boogeyman. Then he fought Vladimir Klitschko and he got knocked down with a jab. Then he proceeded to get knocked down 17 times. It was one of the most easiest fights of Vladimir Klitschko's entire career. And it really annoyed me because leading up to that fight, I remember seeing a lot of people, even a few boxing channels, acting as if Kubrat Pulev had a really big chance on beating Vladimir Klitschko, and he ended up being a fraud, a hype job, and he got absolutely exposed by the likes of Vladimir Klitschko. Therefore, I've never really been a fan of his because it's like, okay, he's supposed to be this boogeyman, but the minute he gets his chance at world level, he gets utterly obliterated in like 5 rounds and gets knocked down, put on his backside 50 times. Absolutely, easy fight for Vladimir. Easiest fight of his life. Brian Jennings gave Vladimir Klitschko a tougher challenge than Kubrat Pulev. Yet, most people will tell you that Kubrat Pulev is a better and more skilled for fighter than someone like Brian Jennings. Yeah, Brian Jennings was more successful in his attempt on trying to get Klitschko's unified belts. I'm just saying that. Let's just say that, Now, both of these guys aren't punchers. Hughie and Kubrat Pulev are not punchers. So you know what I expect? I expect this to be a hella dull fight. I expect this to go the distance. And if anyone's going to get put on his backside, or if anyone's going to get dropped, if this fight does get stopped, the only guy who's going to be getting dropped is Kubrat Pulev, because Kubrat Pulev has absolutely no chin. He has one of the worst chins in the heavyweight division. He got dropped by a jab, or a jab dropped Kubrat Pulev. When he fought Vladimir Klitschko, he got dropped by a jab. I've seen him get rocked against heavyweights that are not considered big punchers. This guy has no chin. He has a bad chin for a heavyweight. Fury, on the other hand, I think he has a better chin. But the problem is Fury is not a big puncher. So would that even matter if Kubrat Pulev doesn't have the best punch resistance? Because Fury is not a big puncher, and Fury is not a risk taker. He would happily go the distance. What I worry about Fury in this fight is this fight's taking place in Bulgaria. Kubrat Pulev is apparently a big star over there. I don't know why he would be, because he's such a bore and a snooze fest to type of fighter to watch. He's a boring fighter. So I don't know why people in Bulgaria like him so much, but whatever. The only thing I will worry about this is they might rob Hughie Fury, especially if it goes the distance. So if I'm Hughie Fury, I would forget about this defensive, crap, and be offensive for once in my life. Be aggressive and attempt to stop Kubrat Pulev. Stop him and beat him like that. Be aggressive, take risk. But unfortunately for Hughie Fury, he's not a risk taker. I mean, he didn't take risks against Joseph Parker. When he had the opportunity to become the WBO heavyweight champion of the world, he was too worried about basically being safety first. He wasn't taking enough risks. You saw how I felt when Joseph Parker wasn't taking enough risks when he fought Dillian Whyte. But Joseph Parker was way more offensive than someone like Hughie Fury when he fought Joseph Parker. Hughie Fury is not a risk taker. He's really a dull type of fighter. He's just very boring, and I'm not happy watching Hughie Fury fight. I remember in my original channel when I in the post fight of this of Hughie Fury versus Joseph Parker, I think I said I will never watch Hughie Fury fight again because he's such a boring fighter to watch, and I'm sticking by that. I'm not gonna watch this fight, but I'm just giving you my opinion, just to give you my opinion. But will I watch this fight? Absolutely not. I'm not gonna watch this fight because two fighters who are not punchers, two fighters who are safety first. This is gonna be very boring, and you know what? I might be totally wrong. Obviously, maybe this fight happens, maybe it ends up being exciting, but I know my styles, and I know exactly what I'm dealing with when I look at Hughie Fury, and I know exactly what I'm dealing with when I look at Kubrat Pulev, and they're both non-punchers who are safety first, particularly somebody like, definitely someone like a Fury. He's very safety first, and he doesn't have the, at least his cousin Tyson Fury, at least he has a mouth. He keeps me entertained like that. But Fury, he's just very dull. He doesn't say anything. He's very quiet. Hopefully he finds the only way this fight will be exciting is if Hughie Fury makes it exciting, right? He's gonna have to bring the fight to Kubrat Pulev. But if Hughie Fury fights the way he normally, it's gonna be a snooze fest, because you know what's gonna happen. He's gonna be on his back foot, on his back legs, moving around the ring, and Kubrat Pulev is not good at cutting off the ring. He's going to be trying to follow. Kubrat Pulev is going to be trying to follow Hughie Fury, and it's just going to be boring and a snooze fest. And he's going to be countering Kubrat Pulev all night, and he's probably going to win on points unless he gets robbed by the judges. But do not expect this to be a war or a back and forth brawl or a toe-to-toe action-packed fight. Don't expect that. Do not expect that. Again, hopefully I'm wrong, but I know my styles, man. I know my styles, and this fight has snooze fest written all over it. But like I said, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Hughie Fury, for once in his life, changes his style.